So you might be wondering, what are these? I don't get it. Why do you need all of this metal? Surely you've just over-engineered the hell out of a loft conversion. Well, actually, this isn't your normal loft conversion. It's actually a very, very wide house, okay? If you can see here, the house actually steps in and then extends even further, meaning your normal house in London pretty much ends around here. So we've got an extra 1.5 meters for this particular loft and what we're doing. And this particular house, we have to do all of this stuff, which does seem a little bit ridiculous. It does, I'm with you. If you're watching this and going, come on, surely you didn't need to do all of that. Look, we did. And trust me, I'd prefer if we didn't, because all of this, quite a lot of money, and I'm going to get into the money aspect of it in a minute because there's quite a bit on that. But I'm just going to quickly run through what this is. So this is a flitch beam. What's a flitch beam? 2 bits of wood with a steel plate running the entire length, okay? What am I stood on here? This steel has to be here because we're going to be having a wall coming down here, and the staircase going down into the rest of the house is all here. So we had to have this here, and then that goes onto a spreader plate just below. Also, on every single one of these, you'll see they're all resting on particular sizes of steel, and these are called spreader plates, or just plates, and they go underneath it to then transfer the weight of the steel beams, so it doesn't all just go down onto one area, because obviously that'd be more pressure. But yeah, you might be wondering, why do you have this weird column here and not on there? Well, if you look over this side, you can see that the steel is going into the wall. And we could not do that here because we had this chimney set up, and therefore if the steel isn't actually going into the wall, which you can see up there, it's not, to have a column. And yeah, if you're wondering why there's some dirty welds that haven't been painted, some cut marks that haven't been painted with this paint, I'll do it soon. But yeah, we had a bit of a nightmare with these steels. And I'm gonna get into it a little bit later in the video, but yeah, it did not go according to plan, and I will never ever use that company ever again, because I just, yeah, I'm gonna try and not get into it too much, but honestly, I do not understand how some companies operate and how they're still in business, because I mean, 2 out of the 6 of these were the wrong length. And we paid them to come and measure them. And that we checked, they had all the right measurements. It's just whoever was in charge of cutting it just mucked it up. It's ridiculous. So yeah, like I was saying, if you're wondering why you need these steels, is, for example, you have basically 2 options with loft conversion of one of this size where you need steels and everything. You can put the steels in the ceiling. So this, obviously, what I'm walking on right now, is the ceiling of my bedroom downstairs. And what you can actually do is, when you take out a ceiling, you can actually drop the steels into the ceiling, and therefore you don't lose this amount of head height. See what I mean? Look where they put the holes, and then we had to re-drill them. Honestly, this company was an absolute joke. Like even over here, they put the holes as well underneath the chimney. I mean, there's not much they got right, to be honest. What did they actually get right? They got the length of this, but they put the holes in the wrong place, so that's wrong. They did get the length of this, so they got one thing bang on. So well done them. They got one thing right. The column was the wrong height. It was, I think I have a piece of metal there. No, I took it over there. That was about 15 centimeters too long, which, yeah, is not brilliant. But obviously, it's not just a case of cutting it to the right length on this. You've obviously got all of the bracket there, which needed re-welding. So, I mean, it's just ridiculous. And this cost a lot of money, and we paid for people to come install it. Yet, because of how they'd mucked us about so much, I mean, it was, I'll just get into it now, actually. It was 3 weeks. 3 weeks of delaying, saying, oh, they couldn't find a crane. They couldn't, oh, the steels weren't ready. And then one person was saying they are ready, it's just they can't find this, and then this, and it was like talking to a brick wall with this company, honestly. And I'm not going to just name and shame the company. They could have just been having a bad day, but I mean, no, it was useless. Literally messed us about for 3 weeks. Said it was coming on one day, so my brother and me took annual leave to be here so we could, judging by how our experience was going, we knew that we'd probably have to get involved in installing it, even though we were paying them to install it. And they never turned up, so we wasted a day of annual leave from our day jobs, which was really annoying. And then when they eventually did turn up, a lot of things were missing, so they had to come back on a second day. And yeah, this is actually a little bit different to a normal steel company. They're ones that will then come and install everything for you. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Well, supposedly they were meant to turn up with a crane, and then they were meant to crane it all up, get them all put in place. Perfect. My brother and me technically shouldn't have even been here, but judging by how bad the company were treating us so far, we thought, do you know what? I feel like this is going to turn into a nightmare, so it's best that we just take 2 days of annual leave from our day jobs and be on site, just in case. I know we've said we're paying for these people to install it, but I'd rather just get it all in and done. The people turn up, the parts missing. They said, oh yeah, we really need you to go and hire some lifts, which are like little pulley lifts that can help move steels around. And we were like, are you sure? We haven't got the right floor for that here. Are you sure we need these genie things? And they were like, yeah, we need them. So we went and hired them, 200 quid, I think it was, to hire them. Got them here. And then when we got them here, they were like, oh, actually, turns out we don't need them anymore, because we can just put a lift from the middle. And that's literally what we've been saying to them. So it was a complete waste of time, waste of money, 200 quid gone. Never even used those lifts at all. So yeah, that was really bad. They turned up, they didn't realise there was scaffolding on the property, so that made it a bit of a pain with the crane, even though the person had come and done site visits and measured everything. Absolute nightmare from the moment they got it to the moment they left. And basically my brother and I ended up having to move every single one of the steels, because when the person said, oh, just make the pockets the exact size of the plates, it turns out you don't need that. I don't know if you can see here, but what we actually had to do is cut out this entire section here. So then obviously the steel can then slide in like that, because obviously it only just fits that way. So in order to get in, which we said to the company, do we need to do this? And they were like, no, it's fine. So honestly, the lack of communication from this company was ridiculous. You'd call them, they'd never pick up, they wouldn't reply to emails. Absolute joke. And if you're wondering how much we paid for all of this, remember, this is to supply the steels. Steel's very expensive at the moment, just bear that in mind. But yeah, to supply all the steels, which, as you can see, I mean, there is a lot of them. To come and measure it cost £500. We said, do you know what? We don't want to risk it. We want the actual people who supposedly know exactly what they're doing to come and measure it all, so we know it's all perfect. £500 we paid for this person. He turned up, was here for 10 minutes, left, and did an awful job, clearly. But we had checked the measurements, so I don't know, there must have been miscommunication from the person who gives the information to the person who manufactures it. I don't know how they run their show, but yeah, clearly not very well. Yeah, so that was £500 for them to measure it, and then the rest was to come and install it. But considering my brother and me had to install this one, they helped lift this up, but my brother and me had to move them all. But it's in now. It's in now, and you want to know the final cost for all of this. So the 500 quid to measure it, and the rest of the steel was £6,300 and to install it. So yeah, expensive. So yeah, that is a big cost. That's £6,300 for the steels and the labour. It's actually not that bad. So yeah, 6,300 plus 500 for the measuring, so that's 6,800, and then 200 quid, 300 quid for the lifts that never got used. So you're £7,000. All of this, £7,000. And yeah, this is pretty much the finished floor height. Obviously you've got some build up coming up from the bottom of it. But yeah, because we are living below, we don't want to take the ceilings down and put the steels in the ceiling. That's why we've got this tiny bit of loss of height underneath them. But because we've raised the ridge, as you can really see there now, how we're properly up into the ridge, that head height gain is going to be pretty amazing. There's going to be a small wall running along here, and that you can see here from about, I'd say, this point here, you're going to then have full head height in the room. And yeah, that's going to be a massive space, because look at the size of this bedroom here. And then we got the ensuite obviously over this side. I think we're going to have the bath where you've got the reduced head height. Then we're going to have the door entering the room around here, the landing, and then the staircase going down there. It's been a few days now, so I've calmed down, but yeah, I was very annoyed with all of this. I felt like I'd wasted a ton of money because I was literally, like I said, you paid someone to measure it all, they got it all wrong. They didn't, they got it right. It was just the miscommunication in the business. And they were just useless. I'm sorry, they didn't pick up calls. They didn't tell you when they're arriving, what was the next step. And then, yeah, paid them to install it. And my brother and me had to install them all. Drag it, this is 250 kg. 250 kg, 250 kg, that's half a ton. Right, that's 150, 200 kg. That's still bloody heavy. This is the same story, same with that. But it's in now. All level. Everything is perfectly level, exactly where it's meant to be. That is exactly the head height we want. And now on, I believe, Saturday, the chippy is coming to crack on with the lofts, because obviously there's the pod loft there as well going on. If you don't know what a chippy is, it's a carpenter, woodwork. He's going to do all the framing, everything. Then the roofer can come in, then we can get it watertight just in time, because it's like November now. So yeah, hopefully just to get a roof on just before proper Christmas time would be nice. So yeah, £7,000. A lot of money it is. I mean, it's been a very expensive month with the extension, the removal of the roof, and this, yeah, very, very expensive. And yeah, I've also just got to transfer quite a chunk of money to the roofer to get going with the materials. If you're wondering about the process with paying builders or labourers or whatever, you need to give them some money to get going, so they're not out of pocket, as in, for example, pay for a portion of the wood that's needed for the loft. However, just like they need that insurance policy that they're not out of it and we just drop them and they've got all these materials that they're never going to use, I need some insurance in case if I paid them all up front, well, where's their motivation to keep turning up and get the job done? I've just paid them for a job they haven't even done yet, okay? It's common sense. So you need to keep something in it, some skin in the game. So you only ever pay them a proportion of the money for the job and then pay the rest of it on completion. Well, that's what I've always done. So yeah, very soon, Saturday, chippy arrives. And this is going to fly up, because loft companies in London, I don't understand how they say it takes like months to do. It's pretty run in the mill. I mean, a pod room, that's just a box, literally. It couldn't be more straightforward. So yeah, I think this is all going to fly up. And then my brother and me are at the moment figuring out all the staircases, because obviously got a little landing there, staircases going down there, another landing to then, because it's a split house, you can clearly see here the different levels. Need to sort out the staircase, which I find staircases really confusing, working out all the levels, the head heights, the everything. Is there anything that I'm missing that I would have liked to have known before I did all of this? Yeah, I guess if they tell you to make the pockets, and they say make it for the plate size, which is the bit of metal that goes under the steel, just know they're wrong, and you actually need to make it way wider. As you can see there, that's how wide we had to make it to slide the steel in. Good thing to remember if you end up putting your steels in, which to be honest I'd probably do next time because it's pretty simple. Scaffolding poles are your friends, because obviously it's like the Egyptians, you can just roll steels on scaffolding poles, and when stuff weighs 250 kg, yeah, not particularly fun. And yeah, next video, hopefully this will be a weatherproof shell with all the woodwork done. The 3 Veluxes have arrived. I'll go into detail on them because we saved a lot of money on those Veluxes. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It really does help out the channel. And if you're new, please subscribe. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.